On paper, it should not work. Put those 4 names on a whiteboard in any music industry meeting room and watch every executive in the room reach for their coffee and stare at the ceiling. Andrea Bocelli, the Italian opera tenor, one of the best-selling classical artists in music history, whose voice has filled cathedrals and concert halls for 3 decades. Thee Stallion, the 3-time Grammy-winning rapper whose commercial dominance over the last 5 years has made her one of the most recognizable names in American hip-hop. David Guetta, the French DJ and producer whose credits include Sia, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, and Bebe Rexha, and whose stadium-scale electronic production has been a fixture of festival main stages for 15 years. And EJAE, a Korean-American singer-songwriter most people outside the K-pop world had never heard of until her song Golden topped the Billboard Hot 100, won the Oscar for Best Original Song, and made history at the Grammys as the first K-pop song to ever win Best Song Written for Visual Media. Opera, rap, EDM, K-pop on the same track for the same World Cup. Released the day before the tournament kicked off, performed live at the opening ceremony at Estadio Azteca in Mexico City on June 11th, 2026, and available on every streaming platform within hours. The song is called DNA, and whether you think it works or not, the fact that it exists, that 4 artists from those 4 completely separate worlds were assembled into a single anthem for the biggest sporting event on the planet, is worth understanding, because it didn't happen by accident. Today we're breaking down the deliberate, calculated logic behind it. This is The Sound Engineer. Welcome back to the Celebs Mindset. Let's start with the why, because the lineup makes a lot more sense once you understand what FIFA was actually trying to solve. The 2026 World Cup is the largest in tournament history. 48 teams for the first time ever, spread across 3 host nations, the United States, Mexico, and Canada, playing 104 matches across 16 different cities. The audience this tournament is designed to reach isn't a single market or a single demographic. It is, almost by definition, every major consumer market on Earth simultaneously. North America, Latin America, Europe, Asia, Africa, the Middle East, all of them all at once for 39 days. That creates a specific problem for the official anthem. A traditional pop anthem, the kind FIFA has released at previous tournaments, targets a general audience and hopes the melody is catchy enough to cross borders. That model worked when the tournament was smaller and the media landscape was simpler. But in 2026, with a fragmented streaming ecosystem, a hyper-segmented global audience, and a tournament more international than any before it, a generic pop track aimed at no one in particular would land with almost no one at all. So instead of building one song for everyone and hoping for the best, Guetta and the team around DNA built something different. Not a compromise between styles, but a genuine structural fusion where each element of the production was chosen to carry a specific audience and a specific cultural weight. Start with Bocelli. He wasn't chosen because opera is trendy. It isn't, particularly. He was chosen because his voice carries a weight and a dignity that no other living performer can replicate. When you hear Bocelli open a track, you feel it before you understand what you're listening to. He anchors DNA in something that feels timeless, ceremonial, larger than a single sport or a single summer. He secures the European classical audience, the Latin American market, where his following is genuinely enormous, and something harder to quantify, a sense of emotional seriousness that tells the audience this is a moment worth paying attention to. Then the track shifts, and this is where Guetta's production instincts are clearest. He doesn't try to blend Bocelli's operatic register directly into electronic dance music. That kind of collision usually creates acoustic whiplash, 2 things fighting each other instead of building on each other. Instead, he gives Bocelli the space he needs, an orchestral arrangement in the mid-range that lets the voice breathe and carry its full emotional weight before the production opens up underneath it and the electronic current begins to move. By the time Thee Stallion arrives, the track has already shifted terrain entirely, and the transition feels earned rather than jarring. Megan's presence on DNA is doing something very specific commercially. Her rap verse brings the Western hip-hop streaming engine into a song that, without her, would feel like a prestige project aimed at an older, more classical-leaning audience. She signals to an entirely different generation and demographic that this track is for them too. 3 Grammy wins, one of the most commercially active careers in American rap right now, and a fan base that follows her across platforms. That's not a feature cameo, that's a market expansion strategy embedded directly into the song structure. And then there's EJAE. And this is the part of the DNA story that the original script significantly undersold, because EJAE's backstory is more interesting than just Korean artist unlocks Asian market. EJAE is Korean American. She grew up between two worlds, and that dual perspective is baked directly into what she contributed to this anthem. The Korean lyrics she wrote for DNA aren't a translation of the English chorus or a generic addition to tick a diversity box. They're a personal tribute. In her own words, one of her favorite childhood memories is being in Seoul during the 2002 World Cup. Korea's historic run to the semifinals, one of the most electric moments in the tournament's history, and watching strangers on the street hug each other and celebrate. The Korean lyrics in DNA carry that memory. They carry the specific feeling of a city united by football, written by someone who actually lived it. And the context around her career makes that contribution land even heavier. Golden, her breakout song from Netflix's animated film, K-pop Demon Hunters, topped the Billboard Hot 100. It won the Academy Award for Best Original Song. At the Grammys, it became the first K-pop song in history to win Best Song Written for Visual Media. FIFA isn't including EJAE in this anthem because K-pop is popular, although it is. They're including her because she is right now one of the most critically validated and commercially successful singer-songwriters working at the intersection of Korean and global pop music. Her presence on DNA isn't a demographic calculation, it's a recognition of genuine cultural weight. Put all four of those pieces together and what you have is a song that moves through languages the way the World Cup moves through continents. Bocelli opens in Italian, the song shifts into English, EJAE delivers in Korean, Megan raps in the vernacular of American hip-hop, Guetta's production threads underneath all of it, the connective tissue that holds the whole thing together without forcing any single element to sound like it doesn't belong. It's more than just a game, it's our DNA, the chorus declares. With four voices from four corners of the world, it's genuinely difficult to argue with the sentiment. Now, is this approach risky? Absolutely. Cross-genre fusions at this scale fail more often than they succeed, and the failure mode here is loud. A track that feels forced, focus-grouped, and hollow, designed by committee rather than built from genuine creative instinct. Some listeners will hear DNA and feel exactly that. The criticism that a song this calculated loses something essential in the calculation is a legitimate one, and it's worth sitting with. But here's the counter-argument, and it's the one Guetta and FIFA are betting on. The 2026 World Cup is itself a product of exactly this kind of deliberate, multi-continental design. 48 teams, 3 countries, 16 cities, 104 matches, built to reach an audience that has never been fully unified by a single sporting event before. If the tournament itself is an exercise in controlled ambition, maybe the anthem should be too. Maybe DNA is the most honest representation of what this World Cup actually is. Not a clean, simple product aimed at one market, but something genuinely plural, built from real voices carrying real meaning for the audiences they come from. That's the lesson of the sound engineer. In a world where fragmentation is the default, where every streaming algorithm is sorting every listener into a smaller and smaller niche, the artists and producers who can build genuine bridges between those worlds without losing the authenticity of any single piece are the ones who get to play on the world's biggest stages. David Guetta has been doing this for 15 years. DNA is just the most ambitious version of it yet. Was DNA a stroke of deliberate cross-market genius? The most calculated anthem FIFA has ever commissioned, and all the stronger for it? Or does the sheer ambition of the lineup prove that the song was engineered within an inch of its life and lost something in the process? Drop your take in the comments, and if you want more breakdowns of the real strategies behind the music that moves global culture, subscribe to the Celebs Mindset. We're just getting started.